I just don't even know where to begin. This one, oh god. If you're on this channel, then you probably know me from my ASMR channel. If you don't, feel free to check it out, Google it, whatever. I don't really feel like explaining it. But I want to tell a story. I spend a lot of money on props and equipment and stuff, so people PayPal and Venmo me or whatever to help me out. Last Friday, I'm filming this on a Monday and I'm not really sure when I'm gonna upload it, somebody added me as a friend on Venmo. And I was like, whatever, thinking it was like a subscriber, cool. They sent me 10 bucks. And I was like, wow, thanks so much, whatever. And I realized that the guy's name had the same name as somebody who had been tweeting me earlier. So the guy had like an obscure Twitter name. For the purpose of this video, I feel like I probably shouldn't say it. And in the bio, it said that he was a feminist, a goddess worshiper, women's, rights, whatever, all this really cool stuff. So I was like, oh, word, like power to people, whatever, power to women. I started messaging him on Venmo because he was like, how much for a mani-pedi? And like asking me all these questions, like what he wanted to, like what I wanted the money for. And I was like, oh, you're not from my YouTube channel, like I thought you were a subscriber. And he was like, you have a YouTube channel, that's awesome. Like, how much do you want to get started? Like I can do a maximum of $50 a month. And I was like kind of weirded out because nothing is ever free. And I was like immediately being like super sketched out. And I was like, hold on, like what does this guy want? Like he clearly has another idea like in mind. Like what does he expect from me in return? Like what's going on here? So I started looking into his Twitter. And I found that he was part of this thing, it's like a subcategory of BDSM called FINDOM. So it's like kind of like people get off on sending women money. And I had to Urban Dictionary it because I really had no idea what it was. Then he sent me another, I think it was another 25 bucks or something. And I was like, thank you so much, but I'm really not into the whole FINDOM thing. I wish you the best of luck, whatever. So I'm at work while this is happening, trying to get into the groove, but it was like so bizarre. And I noticed that he had added some girls from my school on Venmo too, 2 girls in my sorority. And I saw that they were like, who are you? And he was like, just take it, free money, whatever. So I get home and I check my notifications or whatever, and it was like 3 messages from Venmo and then a tweet or something. And he was like, please message me on Twitter, Venmo's sketch, but I really fucked up, like I need to talk to you. So I messaged him on Twitter just kind of like being curious about the whole thing because it was just like absurd and like it kind of like fascinated me in a way, and I was like kind of interested to see what was gonna go on, like what he was gonna say, whatever. Sit out and he's like, I was sending money to a girl and she knows who I am and she's going to threaten to tell you who I am if I don't send her another $40 and I don't have the money. And I'm like, so now I'm like, who is this guy? Like I have to know in person. Like it was just like so weird. And he's like, well, she already got $200 out of me. She just wants more money. She threatened to tell you, like, I think I'm just gonna like let you know who I am. I'm gonna message you on Facebook. So when I was at school, I was in a sorority. Like we hung out with frats, like we did socials, mixers, whatever you wanna call them. And I had added this guy because I thought he was in a frat that we're good friends with, like as a sorority. And then the other day I was like, he'd been messaging me on Facebook like, congratulations on graduating, congratulations on taking a job in Texas, like if you need any friends, like let me know, I know somebody. And then it kind of like fell through, and he like messaged me like some weird messages too, just about like how he felt like weird for reaching out to me, and he hoped that it wasn't like weird that he did that. And I was like, I mean, I don't really care, like whatever, like it's, I just didn't care, I didn't think anything of it. So then I kind of like put 2 and 2 together, like he messaged me on Facebook and I realized that it was him, and it was this guy that I actually had no idea who he is. And I was like, okay, well, who was the girl that I know? And he was like, well, she's in your sorority. So I had seen 2 people that he had sent money to on Venmo that he was friends with, so I kind of had an idea of which one it was, and I guessed right. And he was like, please don't tell her, like she's gonna be so upset, like she was holding me up for all this money, whatever, I just don't have it to send to her, like blah blah, whatever, all this stuff. And it really just didn't sound like her. And I was like, there's no way that she took over $200 for you and held you up for 40 bucks. I texted my friend, and we're really good friends, and I was like, dude, like, what's going on? And she was like, I meant to message you, like, I'm just letting you know he, like, stalks our sorority, he, like, all this stuff. And I was like, what? Because initially I thought that it was like one of my subscribers being like so friendly, just like, you know, being nice and giving me a donation for new equipment for my other channel, whatever. And it turned out to be this guy who, I guess if you're wearing my sorority's letters on campus, will like go up to you and like talk about how all his best friends are in my sorority, blah, blah, all this stuff, and like none of them really know him. So I messaged my littles. I have 2 littles in my sorority. And I was like, please be careful, like this kid graduated, but like clearly there's just something like wrong going on here. Like it's just not normal that he's doing this. Like it makes me really uncomfortable, just be very careful. My little told me that he'd actually came up to her when she was like in like the eating area on campus or like in the library or something when she was wearing letters, and like sat up next to her and was being like overly friendly, talking about how he was like best friends with all these girls like in the sorority, and like how obsessed he was with my one friend Campbell. And I was like, this is like so bizarre, like what's going on? So I messaged Campbell and I was like, Campbell, do you know this guy? Like he clearly talks about like how obsessed he is with you, like all this stuff. And she's like, I'm not even friends with him on Facebook, I've never even met him, I've never even seen him. So essentially I figured out with my friend after texting her that first of all, he hadn't sent her $200, and then apparently he was like, well, you have to Skype me now because I sent you money. And she's like, I guess like he was like, you know who I am or something, and I guess she figured out who it was because he's kind of famous in our sorority for being like this creepy guy that no one knows and just like comes up to all girls in my sorority on campus and is just like just whatever. And she guessed right. I'm like, dude, like that was a really good guess. And she was like, I just had a feeling like he's kind of like, everyone talks about him, like all the older girls who graduated, like they all knew who he is. I had never heard of him. I had no idea this guy existed. I knew that he was messaging me on Facebook. I thought he was in a friend frat of ours. He isn't. And it was just like very bizarre. But yeah, so that was my experience. It was very, very unexpected. Here I am thinking that he's a subscriber. He turned out to be this like whatever guy who's like sending girls money and part of this FINDOM thing as like an alter ego. And he said that he got involved in it because it was lonely. Like that's fine, like be involved in whatever you're doing. Just like, I don't even know. I just feel really bad about the situation. I messaged him, I was like, hey, like, you know, I'm sorry, but this thing like turned into really complicated. Like, I hope you understand, like, I wish you the best of luck and everything, but, you know, goodbye. And I blocked him on everything because it like really made me uncomfortable, and I don't know. So if you have had an experience with FINDOM that you care to share in the comments, I will gladly read it. And what do you think of my situation? Because I don't even know what I would have done differently had this happened to me. I just don't know. So if you think something else, please share in the comments and I will check it out. And thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in my next upload.